Hello and welcome to my stakeholder presentation. Let's start out with a few important questions. First, who am I? Well, my name is Amy Weldon and I'm a third-year biology student at the University of North Florida. Why am I here? I'm here today to ask for your help in a very important issue. Lastly, and probably more important to you, why are you, members of the EPA, here today? Honestly, here it is. You guessed it. Climate change and global warming. Our northern ice caps are melting, our coral reefs are bleaching, and warming water temperatures are causing catastrophic and unpredictable weather patterns across the globe. So science versus politics. Why can't the two mix? Do the fossil fuel companies have too many countries tied into their intricate financial web? Is it money? Is it a conspiracy by the climate change deniers? Or is it just really a blatant disrespect and lack of appreciation for our environment? I'm not sure, but I do know that climate change is real. How can we get this to be taken seriously in politics, whether it be the local or the federal level? Women in leadership. Well, it seems simple, but could it be the answer? I'll be focusing on three theories in this presentation today. Their gender roles and how they influence social dominance and aggression. So gender roles, what are they? Gender roles are sets of behavioral norms for males and females. There are many studies and findings that suggest women tend to be more calm, intuitive, empathetic, nurturing, and intimate than men. And this is what the earth needs. It needs to be nurtured, it needs to be loved, and above all, it needs to be respected. By having more women in office, we can get these qualities involved into decision-making and legislation. By having more nurturing hand in legislation, more laws would be passed in the interest of combating climate change. There's a reason the caretaker of our planet is called Mother Earth. A study that accentuates this theory is a study by Rubin in 1985 and Sapodin in 1988. They found that both men and women agree. Relationships tend to be more intimate, more enjoyable, and more nurturing with women than they are with men. So we as a population need to develop a relationship with the planet Earth that is both more intimate and nurturing overall. When it comes to social dominance, Schwartz and Rubel in 2005 conducted studies of nearly 80,000 people across 70 different countries. It was found that men rated gaining power and achievement as more important as opposed to women. So for too long, we have had power-hungry, strong, aggressive males dominating our politics. When it comes to climate change, there's no big reward, there's no physical battle won, and there's no power to be gained. So according to these theories, why would a man even be inclined to exert his time and energy into something like global warming? These theories also imply that maybe women don't necessarily need the big reward, and that their nurturing or intimate, caring demeanor will override their quest for power. This would lead to more proactive government, with the state of the environment being the major priority versus any kind of personal interest. Lastly, I'd like to focus on aggression. Aggression is a behavior that's intended to hurt. In 2007, Wood and Eagley stated that hunting, fighting, and warring are globally recognized as primarily male activities. All of the aforementioned activities, if not used in moderation, are detrimental to the environment. In addition, it was noted by Shelley Taylor in 2002 that when faced with stress, men tend to respond with combat, whereas women take more of a tend and befriend type approach, which means that they turn to their friends and their family for help. This is exactly what needs to be done. Leaders all around the world need to turn to each other for help, cooperation, and understanding the present predicament and how to overcome it. So how do more women into politics? Well, we get them interested. How? With all of the research in mind, I would like to propose a solution. I ask my stakeholders, you, the financial officers of the EPA, to fund a club that's geared towards young women. Some of these guidelines. Well, these young women would be in middle school or high school, and they'd be part of a club that focuses on caring for the environment, focuses on leadership, and how it all relates to politics and those in charge. It'd be a club that would have monthly meetings and would get girls of all walks of life to come together and discuss hot topics in environmental politics. There'd also be opportunities for volunteer outings, fun outings, building strong relationships, and doing good things for the community and the environment. We could also have group projects or individual awards that would act as incentives, such as volunteer hours and regional project competitions. So the monthly meetings would look a little something like this. We'd start with a welcome, some opening remarks. We could have an icebreaker game to introduce new members to each other, then move on to more hot topics and environmental politics, throw in a snack, some social time to get to know one another, and then get into upcoming events, and finally leave with some final words that would really be meant for the girls to reflect upon in between meetings. So next is possible social outings and volunteer opportunities. These could include things like beach cleanups, park cleanups, attending debate clubs, attending town meetings, and then we could even throw in fun trips such as trips to the beach, camping, hiking, museums, aquariums, etc. All of these activities would still enrich the appreciation the girls have for both environment and politics. Other opportunities and incentives would include things such as offering awards for community service, offering scholarships, grants, or funding for research and education. We can offer internships at perhaps national parks, state parks, research facilities, or local government agencies. We can even offer letters of recommendation for our children for furthering education, research, or job resumes. Spreading the word. How do we get word out? How do we get people interested? We can start with booths at community events, booths at school fairs, job fairs. We can print out flyers, have them stationed at state and national parks, museums, schools, libraries, zoos, aquariums, anywhere that young women that would be interested in this would hang out. We could also print out flyers and put them in the mail to communities where we're trying to start a chapter. So important. Why is this important? Well, aside from promoting healthy relationships and projects for women, it helps to encourage them to care for the environment while becoming interested in politics. So by encouraging interest in these areas, more women will be likely to pursue careers in politics. And the EPA is a great organization, but they can't tackle this feat alone. In fact, the current administrator is Gina McCarthy. Over the course of 30 years, she's worked her way from the local level government all the way up to the administrator of the EPA. So we need more stories like this. But it has to go beyond the EPA. It has to go to town officials, mayors, governors, state representatives, and even the Oval Office. By starting at these local levels in towns and communities where these women are doing a majority of their public service, it will open the minds of the local voters by seeing these women out in the environment doing good for their communities. And perhaps it would make them more inclined to voting for women than they were previously. So getting a woman's voice, point of view, and heart into the cold world of politics might be what the world needs to start making strides in fighting climate change. So as with any ideas or solutions, there's always the possibility of issues or opposing views. So first, why make a club specifically for girls? Well, it would focus on girls, but if a young man really wanted to join, the door would be open. The world of politics is already overwhelmingly male. So leadership has always been a more traditional role for men. So I believe that men, more than women, though not true in every case, mind you, are brought up differently and that they're encouraged to go outdoors. They're encouraged to do things such as hiking and fishing and camping and hunting. And many women do these things, but for many generations, these qualities, these activities were pushed more onto boys as they were growing up. I remember myself wanting to be in Boy Scouts, but instead was forced to do the female equivalent. And that's where I learned to sew and cook and do more traditional women things. This club is different because it encourages women to assume non-traditional roles. Another issue that may come up is many people believe that gender roles are a bad concept. Labeling one gender this and one gender that, it eliminates the individual. This is why it's a theory. It's not a law. It's a theory that women are more nurturing, naturally more, instinctively more loving and caring, and all that is true. But at the same time, these things could be learned. They could be, the society could encourage these things by making young women, particularly, just encouraging these specific behaviors, but whether it's natural or it's learned, the result is still the same. The result is still women tend to be more nurturing overall. So finally, it is thought that once a woman takes on a non-traditional role, that their gender roles will no longer have a profound effect. This may be true, but if these women grow up to be strong, independent, caring individuals within in an environment where being a woman is celebrated and they cherish these bonds and the things that they've learned in this club, it is hoped that they will create long-lasting impressions and beliefs that will be carried on throughout their lives, everything that they do in their lives. And even if they take on a more non-traditional role, these qualities will still shine through. So in conclusion, climate change is happening, and it's happening fast. So we need to fix it. Politicians are becoming increasingly denying that it's happening. More women in leadership roles could have a profound impact on environmental policies and government, and we have to get young women involved today to secure our future for tomorrow. I hope this presentation has encouraged you to support my project, and I thank you so much for listening.